Hello, brothers and sisters. How are you doing? I'm Michelle, and I'm going to be reading from Jim Stevens' book. It's called 101 Proofs for God. He's this wonderful person, just humble, kind, brilliant, smart. We're all about the same, aren't we? So then, anyway, you can read about him and a little bit about the creation of this book. So it's called 101 Proofs for God. They're really just heavenly inspired. That's what I think. So I really wanted to read them because they're really quite incredible. So I am going to read number 27. And it's called The Truth About Mutation. Those who think there is no intelligent creator of all living beings very often rely on the process of random mutation as the way living species came to exist. They deal with living beings that reproduce and where mutations happen, mostly skipping over how the atoms and other materials got here in the first place. Great point, Jim. They believe faithfully that this process could actually produce all the thousands of magnificently functioning attributes of the millions of species that exist. But does this really make rational sense when you study the truth about mutation? Not just assume what is possible in theory. When you go to the dentist and have to get x-rays on your teeth, they put a lead vest on you to shield your heart. Why is that? The reason is to prevent mutations of your cells. Another term for it is cancer. There is a big scare in the media about a hole in the ozone layer around the earth. Why? What's the big deal? It's because if there is less ozone to protect us, there will be more mutations going on, more sickness, and more disease. Most states have a law against getting married to your first cousin. Why? That's because inbreeding of close relatives increases the likelihood of genetic mutations. One famous one is hemophilia. Every year, the flu season strikes with a new mutated version of last year's flu. Is this a good thing? If you think about it, you already know that almost all mutation is a bad thing. The odds of bad things happening as a result of a mutation are thousands of times greater than good things happening. Wow. Theodosius Dobzhansky, a prominent evolutionary biologist, spent years irradiating fruit flies for thousands of generations to artificially induce mutations. So, what were the results? When asked, he couldn't think of a single mutation that was more viable out in nature. He could only think of several which might be more viable at unusual conditions like very elevated temperatures. How about the study of bacteria? Mutation has been studied most extensively in bacteriology because you can experiment with millions of bacteria and thousands of generations in a fairly short period of time. Alan H. Linton, a British bacteriologist, wrote in 2001, throughout 150 years of the science, throughout 150 years, note that, of the science of bacteriology, there is no evidence that one species of bacteria has changed into another. Oh my goodness. We currently have millions of perfectly functioning species on Earth, all intricately woven together in phenomenal ecosystems connected to the Earth. If there was a lot of mutating going on, then where are all the bad results from the mutations? The track record of mutations is mostly diseased and dysfunctional results. Where are they out in nature? The fossil record does not show any missing links. This is a well-known fact, but a missing link is an intermediary step along the right path to get to a certain developed species. But think about it. Missing links, if there were actually any, are a tiny fraction of what would have to be thousands of mutated beings that were the wrong path for every missing link along the right path. No mutants exist in the fossil record either. All the species on the Earth seem to exist in their final form, their perfected form, and fully functioning. How come scientists don't find any species? They don't find any species in nature that are mutating toward something else. There are no records of ever having actually seen instances of evolution for as long as they have been looking. There have, of course, been changes within a species, but that's not evolution. Here is an even more fundamental problem for those who have faith in mutation. Mutation requires changes, but only after there is already a successfully functioning species. Where did that first species come from? You have to have a male and female correctly functioning respectively before they can have a mating relationship, which could result in a mutation. Evolutionists may show us artists' drawings of what type of mutations could possibly occur, but note that before even those changes, they have to assume the original DNA somehow exists. Mutations can only occur after DNA exists. We need to ask evolutionists to explain the original existence of the DNA. In the old days, people used to think that life could spontaneously combust out of nothing. But no one really believes that anymore. Life only comes from life. Because there is life, the original source must also have the attribute of life. So there must be God. Okay. Awesome. All right. So we thank you so much, Jim, for that. There is so much food for that in just this page and a half. The next chapter I'm going to be reading, it's chapter 28, and it's called The Lottery. Okay, so I'll see you another time. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.